So now we're ready to color grade this video and match it with the vintage style music that we have. Let's head to the Lumetri workspace and begin working with the clips. Now, because each video has its own type of lighting, different colors and all that, it will be kind of difficult to use one adjustment layer and apply all of these changes at once. So I will be editing each video on its own. And for the ones that are similar, I can just use an adjustment layer. We're going to use the vintage style that we learned about in a previous category and make this really old school. Let's lower the exposure, contrast, remove that completely. Lower the highlights, lift the shadows, increase the white, darken the blacks. Temperature, we want it to be on the warmer side. Now we can move to the creative section and do some adjustments. Now you can go for either a retro look or an old film look, meaning that you can either keep the colors and get like a retro look, or get rid of the colors and get a film look. So this is up to you. Experiment with both of them and see which one you prefer. So I have two images in your resource pack that you can see and decide which style you prefer. This is the film style, and this is one sample of vintage styles. You can look for others on the internet and use this as your reference. I'm going to stick with a film style, so I'll delete this. I'm going to bring the reference image right above. And let's group all of these files, select them, right click, and group. So whenever I select one, I end up selecting everything. And I don't disturb the order that I created. Push this to the side, grab your first video, and we can enable comparison view. So that's my reference, this is my current frame. All right, let's begin. I'm going to ungroup once I move that to the side so I can work with one clip at a time. So based on what we learned, match the frames to your preferred style, either using auto match or doing it from scratch. And if you have some scenes where the lighting is similar, you can use an adjustment layer. So I'm going to color grade all of my files, and then I'll be back so we can continue. So I fixed the color for all of the videos, and now I have myself a retro film. And here's a tip if you don't know how to copy and paste Lumetri color settings from one clip to the other. Grab the clip that already has your settings, Command-C or Control-C. Grab the clip that doesn't have anything on, right-click, paste attributes, and just check Effects, Lumetri Color. If you have anything else going on for motion, opacity, and time remapping, make sure that they are not selected. Hit OK once you're finished, and you're going to copy the exact same settings. Then you can just come into this new clip, tweak some stuff up, and you're ready to go. You can also do this with multiple clips. Again, copying the attributes from this clip, then select more than one clip. Grab all three, right-click, paste attributes, and you can just do that easily. So you don't have to copy and paste one by one. And be sure to only use one clip as your reference. So for like the further ones, you want to copy and paste from this first video and not from like one of the middle guys. Because as you recalled, when we copy and pasted onto these clips, we had to tweak some of these settings. So you're going to copy and paste those additional changes onto the other videos, and that's going to make things look bad. So have one video as reference, and if needed, copy and paste your settings. So I did that until here, since in this scene she wakes up and things are different. Once you're done with your color grading, you can just grab everything again except for your reference shot. Get rid of your reference image and pull these guys back. Once you're done, ungroup, turn off comparison view, and I got myself a nice retro film. Now, because I chose this style, I have to put some overlays on this. So I just downloaded some from the internet. Drag it on top, go to Effect Controls, and change the blending mode to screen. So I get these little overlays, which are pretty common in old films. Now we can just copy and paste this multiple times and just fill up our timeline. I'm going to change the color so it stands out. There we go. We just need the damaged film until this part. So now I've got my damaged film. One last thing that I want to add is some grain on top of the videos. Go to the project panel, make a new adjustment layer. Add this right on top. And look for noise. And here we want to just add maybe 20%. Then I'm going to remove this option so that I don't get color inside my noise. Now let's set our in point and the out point. Make sure that it doesn't go on top of the second half. Once you have your in point and out point, we're going to hit enter on our keyboard. All right, we rendered the effects, and this is what we have so far. And we actually forgot to add one sound effect. The sound of the glasses clicking. I'm gonna get that and put it right here. So I got this wine glass contact sound. We're gonna put it on the first section and not for the rest. Let's see where the contact happens. Add this audio right underneath and match the contact with the beat. So look at the sound wave. We have one beat here and other ones moving forward. I'm going to hit M and mark this. All right, so I'm going to use this section where there's more than one contact and match the high point with my playhead. All right, we don't need this one because they're pulling back. You can just cut it here and get rid of the rest. Let's just go to the essential sounds. We can get it here. Essential sound. Let's call this an SFX. Make distant, light reverb. Pretty good. I'm just going to reduce the volume. And that is pretty good. So that's our color grading. Option or Alt, hit X to get rid of the in and out points. I want to add a cinema crop to the vintage section. And before I do that, I just want to nest all three of these floors so that the cinema crop could be placed easier. grab them all, not the second half, just the first half, right click and nest. Let's call it whatever you want. And now on this, I can just easily add my crop effect. I'm going to go for a higher number this time. Usually we do 5, but this time I'm going with 10 so I can use 5% for when she wakes up. All right, bring your nested clip one floor up so we can change the background. Go to your bin. And I just made this background by right-clicking, New Item, Color Matte. I grabbed the eyedropper tool and selected one of the darker browns, then just lowered the brightness to 8%. Bring this underneath your nested clip so we get brown bars rather than black bars. You can go with any other color, but the black was too obvious, so I just made it a little brown. And alright, pretty much ready to go with this section of our video. For the second section, the color grading should be rather more realistic because this is just when she wakes up and is brought back to reality. So let's head to Lumetric Color and begin with our first clip. Not going to do anything too intense. Maybe add a little bit of cold because this is before she drinks our product. So we want to make it look like she's not her happiest self right now. And therefore you want to add some cold colors, maybe make things a little dark and gloomy. Contrast, let's add more blue to the shadows. And some green to the highlights. Copy this, next clip, right click, paste attributes, effect, Lumetric Color. Then here is when she's pouring our product. So we want to add some warmth, contrast, a little bit of red to the shadows, and that is looking good. And then in the final scene where she's drinking our tea, everything needs to look perfect. So we're going to embrace the colors that we have by first getting the proper lighting. Make everything nice and warm, like her cup of herbal tea. And I add some red to the shadows and a little bit of cyan to the highlights. And there we are. So the color grading is really simple here. Now I'm going to make another adjustment layer for the cinematic bars. You can actually just use it here. I made one before for this clip. Put it right above. But instead of 10%, we're going to go with 5%. So 5% for top, 5% for bottom. Just to make things look subtle. And there we go. Now, because of all of the effects that we have, playback will be a little slow. So if you do want to see a playback, make sure to set your in and out points. Hit enter and just wait for it to render. So we're done with the color grading, the sound design, and everything else. In the next lesson, we're going to bring in the titles and finish everything up. So I will see you guys in the next lesson.